Alright guys, I want to take just a minute to quickly talk to you all about building your airplanes. There's been a lot of confusion in my other class about how to make this happen. The plan that you guys are going to be using is this particular sheet of paper, and everything that you're building on here gets built to scale. Your kits are sitting between the drill press and the bandsaw right now. I've gone ahead and predetermined some groups that the sub's going to hand out to you all. But I've got a couple of examples of how to really go about setting this stuff up. This is one of the wings right here, and there is a very specific angle that these wings need to get placed at, and it's called Dihedral. So first and foremost, you're going to build each wing individually, and then you're going to use this small little measured strip right here to introduce Dihedral and glue everything together. The skinning of the wings is the absolute last thing that happens, and you are going to just skin the tops of the wing. You're going to skin the top of the horizontal stabilizer. You're going to skin both sides of the vertical stabilizer, and then you're going to skin both sides of the wing support. If you guys follow through all of the directions on this sheet, you will do everything absolutely correctly, and you shouldn't have any issues. The only thing that you need to be aware of is step number 1 right here. This one tells you to T-pin everything down on top of a piece of wax paper or parchment paper. We're not doing that. So instead of doing that to aid in the glue not sticking, we do not want to glue directly on this plan because things will stick and they will never come off. So what you guys are going to do is you're going to basically set stuff up exactly like what I've done right here. So you can see that I've got a horizontal stabilizer that I built up yesterday. It's been glued together, and I glued this one pretty aggressively, and it just came apart at one of the seams. And the reason that that happened is probably because I glued masking tape, or I taped masking tape on top of existing masking tape, which is a bad idea because it doesn't like to come apart too easily. So I'm going to show you guys what to do. Kind of how this was set up just a minute ago is really what not to do. And you just want to be very careful taking things apart when you are finished building them, because until it gets skinned, it really doesn't have a whole lot of rigidity to it. Yeah. And so really what I should have done is not taped masking tape on top and bottom, but I was trying to hold everything very, very flat. So you can see it came apart. That's not a big deal. I really and truly wasn't terribly happy with how that was coming out anyway. So what you guys are going to do, you've got your straight slats of wood. They're going to be all held together like this. You're going to cut them apart on a cutting mat, please. And then when you place them down on the plan, you are simply going to set it flat and cut exactly according to the plan specifications here. Just like that. So, and then this particular piece here, if you flip around a lot of your cuts, they should line up to the other cut in the plan. So the bevel that I just cut there, when I flip it around, it lines up right here. And then this particular cut goes this way. Just like that. So now, I'm going to take a piece of masking tape. And it's a good idea to take a couple of pieces, because what we can do is we can tape directly down to the table, just like this. Nope, that is not the right piece. This is the right piece here. So those edges line up. So I place this down, and then this down, right like this. I hope you guys can see, but I've basically got the joint just butted up against itself. And then I take a very, very, very small bit of glue and just put it right on top of that piece right there. And I'm just gonna let this sit and let it dry. You don't wanna move it around, because as you move it around, what'll happen is the glue will bond to one of the individual pieces of wood, and super glue does not typically like to stick to itself very well right off the bat. So if it doesn't stick initially, what you're gonna need to do is take a little piece of sandpaper from your kit and sand down the wood just a little bit, and then you will be able to reattach stuff together. Let me grab one more bottle of glue. So there's one bottle of glue that I have over here that's got wood glue that has been slightly watered down. If you guys get to the skinning process today, fantastic. This is the tissue paper that you're going to be using right here. And this is really, it's not your typical tissue paper. This tissue paper likes to shrink when it gets wet. So the glue actually helps tighten stuff into place. So I'm going to take this small piece right here, and then this is the vertical stabilizer. You're going to take a little bit of the wood glue. You're going to apply it very conservatively to the structure of the airplane, because as the glue dries, it actually adds weight. Weight is our enemy. We do not want these to be heavy. That is why we're not using hot glue to glue this together. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this, I'm going to set it right here. Don't do this until things are built and fully assembled. You cannot skin the wings until the wings are actually established with the dihedral, like this one is right here. So make sure things are assembled first. They do take a little while to dry when you're building certain things like that together. Take that, cut that off of there, and then I can take just a little bit more of this wood glue here. And there should be more than enough wood glue in there to do all of these airplanes. If there's not, just pour a little bit of wood glue from the big bottle and then add a small amount of water just to make it flow a little bit more. Take this piece of paper here. And for this particular side, I'm going to give it a little stretch, so I'm just kind of pulling away from the vertical stabilizer as I attach this down. You do want to be careful though, because you do not want your fingers to stick to the paper. And so I'll just leave that sandwiched in there. You guys can check these parts out while you're working today. I'm going to leave everything out and sitting right here. Don't be afraid to come over, take a look at it, use it as a reference. Please try not to break things, because I would like to fly mine when you guys fly yours. One other thing that I want to talk about really quickly. This is part of the wing support here. This is a channel that you're going to have to make. The plan for that is right here in step number 10. And this is your bearing for the propeller right here. It's a little L-shaped piece of metal. There are a few pieces of metal in this kit. If you lose them, you will not have a flying plane, because some of these things we cannot remanufacture. Some of them we can. Paper clips work really well for some of the stuff that we're going to use, but this particular bearing that is right here, we cannot remake. And what you're going to do is you're going to use a small bit of super glue, tape it down, and then you're going to wrap it with the thread that's in the kit, and then you're going to saturate that thread with super glue and then cut it loose. That will basically create a really, really strong, plasticky, almost like woven composite bond to hold this thing on here, and it's not going to go anywhere. So fellas, some of the basics, some of the things that you might run into issues with, if you follow all of the steps today, you should be absolutely fine. We're going to hopefully get these things flying before winter break, so that's next week. So try and get as much work done on them today as you can. Finish them up on Thursday if possible. As long as you guys are working efficiently in pairs, then you should have absolutely no issue getting these things completed. Good luck, guys.